back. So the National Consumer Commission has announced the recall of certain Volkswagen Golfs, Volvo vehicles, as well as the Hino 500 trucks because of different faults. The VW South Africa is recalling 159 Golf 8 cars that were sold between the 16th of April and the 30th of June this year. The recall is due to a problem with the front passenger seat belt. So what do we know about the latest recall? Joining us now is the head of complaints and investigations at the Commission, Prudence Moilwa. Prudence, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. So what information did you get from these automotive companies around what the faults are with their vehicles?
Yeah, for the Golf is exactly what you've now stated. I think for the 159 Golfs, what we've been informed is that the defect is on the passenger seat belt that seems to not have been properly sewn, and it creates now a problem when an accident occurs, because obviously it wouldn't be able to support the passenger in the front seat. So that is why that is a safety concern, and that's why we're talking about it now, just to say to the people who are driving the Golfs bought between the 16th of April and the 30th of June to please go to your nearest dealer to be able to have this fixed. And also with the Volvo XC90, we've been told that the braking system may be, temporarily disabled while using the B pedals and stuff like that. So this affects the vehicles, that were made available in 2025, but mainly the models or 2025 to 2026. So the problem affects the hybrid cars as well as the electric cars. The problem is also the braking system as well. The Hino, as you've already indicated in your intro, the problem with that is with regard to the cage bolt spanner that was not provided. But then the problem with the vehicle is that the parking brake, while it will continue to operate during the vehicle failure, it will not be able to release the parking brake. And for that, they are recalling the vehicles that were made available from the 11th of May 2017 to the 14th of December 2023, and from the 31st of May 2018 to 25 December 2024. So this affected vehicles, if customers can please get in touch with the dealerships so that they can get them sorted out.
Yeah. With the Hino as an example, these would have been cars that would have been bought between 2017 and 2023, as you say. We know with the various financial packages and offerings that financial service providers have, it's normally for a period of around 5 years. So some of these cars would have then been paid off. What happens if the car has been paid off or the car hasn't been paid off in that case?
It doesn't really make a difference. I think because it's a safety concern, the supplier will take full responsibility for the financial costs of fixing the vehicles. So it doesn't make a difference. If it's a safety concern, the suppliers, because it goes to the manufacturing of the vehicle, they take full accountability, and it doesn't necessarily only just fall within those that are still within the warranty. So all the vehicles, when there is a safety concern, suppliers are duty bound to fix the safety concern on behalf of the consumers on their vehicles.
Yeah. Volkswagen, once again, this is not the first time that we've seen vehicles from Volkswagen being recalled. This year alone, the Consumer Commission on the 12th of June also announced the recall of around 141 Polo vehicles that were made available for sale nationally between the 20th of December 2022 and the 29th of January 2024. Does this concern the Consumer Commission at all, that once again it is the same car manufacturer that has a recall because of defects?
Yeah, no, it does concern the Commission. I must also say that over time, we've almost received notification from all the OEMs. It's an ongoing thing, but it does concern the Commission that, recently we've seen a significant rise in the recall of various motor vehicles. It might be that, suppliers are now starting to be more open, because we have been having engagements with them to say, in the event we do find out that you are doing silent recalls, we will prosecute you. So in terms of the law, they are duty bound to tell the Commission and make sure that they make the recalls known to us as well as the customers, so that we may also monitor the recalls to make sure that they are doing the right things by fixing the vehicles and ensuring safety of consumers.
Yeah. And then in this particular case, you have all of these, you have at least in this, in the latest statement, you have 3 car manufacturers, and there's the statement that is being released. I don't know if it is a coincidence that it all came on this particular day, yesterday, that you made the announcement. But I want to also know that if I was involved in a car accident or anything that happened to me while driving any of these vehicles, unbeknown to me, I probably thought that I was at fault or the person who was driving the other car could have been at fault, but not thinking about there could have been a manufacturing default. Do I then have recourse now in hindsight, now that we know that there has been this recall of some of these vehicles?
Yes. The Consumer Protection Act is very clear. Section 61 is very clear to say that in the event where the fault of any product in the market can be attributed to a product that has been supplied by any manufacturer, they are duty bound to bear the responsibility. Whether it is financial loss or any kind of loss that can be proven, they will be held accountable. So the fact that there is a recall, for safety concern, the reason why we're communicating is to mitigate the risks, obviously from the Commission side as well, but they hold full responsibility for whatever may occur or coming out of the safety concerns that we've spoken about.
Has the Commission received any complaints from industry bodies, including insurance companies at all?
So far, we haven't received anything. I think since the Ford issue, I think a couple of years ago, we haven't really, received any other concerns from the insurance companies, also from consumers as well, which means that maybe talking about this openly is assisting in ensuring that the mitigation takes place, that the safety concerns do not actually come to pass.
Okay. What's the biggest concern for the Commission with regards to this recalls? And I'm basing this on the poll question that we're asking this morning. So we're asking our viewers, what concerns you most about the recent recalls by multiple car brands, VW as well as Volvo and Hino? We've got 3 options there: the road safety hazards, repair delays, and declining quality. And for our viewers as well, you can scan that QR code and choose any of those 3 options there. But from the National Consumer Commission's part, what would you say is right at the top of your concerns with regards to these recalls?
Yeah, number 1 concern is the quality of the vehicles, obviously. While it is, in terms of legislation, product recalls are allowed, but it is a concern that it does look like there is a decline in the quality of vehicles, number 1. But from the engagements with the suppliers, we have also, engaged with them on the basis of the time it takes to inform the National Consumer Commission or to speak publicly about the recalls, because the time it takes from the decision discovering that there might be fault, there is a need to bridge the gap, even if talking about it for consumers to also take, steps of ensuring that they are safe, even if they are waiting for the parts, for consumers to be informed. I think that is also of concern to us, that sometimes because they are waiting for the parts, they do not speak publicly about the recall.
Yeah, the decline in quality, you said, is one of the top issues or concerns that you have. What is it that you have noted over this period?
Yeah, look, what we have noted, the majority of the recalls were around the Takata airbags. As you know, there was an issue with Takata internationally after they went under. But then we are also picking up small things like your seat belts, the quality of some components of the vehicle, where you literally ask yourself, in the research and development of these vehicles, was due care, implemented to make sure that such issues, like for example, the one of the Golf, if there was no proper sewing, of the seat belts, could this not have been found out before the vehicles were made available to the public? So those are some of those minor things with regard to certain components. But we are also, starting to understand in terms of certain designs of vehicles that sometimes in trying to better the quality of your vehicles and to make them more modern, sometimes the material that is used, is compromised in terms of quality, or it hasn't really, settled in terms of the type of material that is used.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask also about from the element around now assembling the vehicles, could there be an issue around the mechanization that is being used by the industry, that there could be faults as well with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that from the engagements that we've had, we've really were asking in terms of getting the vehicles, made available, and also the process of homologation that we currently have in the country to check for the safety of vehicles. I think as regulators, we need to start looking at, components, not just necessarily the homologation of the entire vehicle. So we are working with other regulators to try and see what it is that we can do to make sure that when the vehicles are tested for safety, the homologation process can also include the issue of components to check whether or not they are working properly.
Yeah, and finally, Prudence, with this latest recall, are you able to share with us whether these would have been cars that have been assembled here in South Africa?
At this point, no, it wasn't part of what the engagement was. I think at this juncture, what was important was for us to get the information out there to make sure that the consumers are aware and they get in touch with the suppliers. However, I think the majority of the vehicles in South Africa are imported, so the possibilities is that they are imported vehicles.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Prudence Moilwa is the NCC Complaints and Investigative Head there